Hey everyone, so on this week's episode of Make It With Calvin, we're going to talk about what you didn't see that went into making the business card holder that I collaborated with Ashley from Chip Builds on, so let's dive into it. So you guys have seen the intro where she pulls the card out of the holder and everything looks great, and then we jump to the CNC machine and that goes wonderful. Yeah, the reality is it didn't go anywhere near that nice. Now, thankfully getting over to her house was pretty quick and easy. It actually went faster than both of us thought, which was nice because then it gave us more time to work on the project, being I had the looming deadline of getting home in time for the 8 o'clock stream with Jimmy from Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits, and being that she lived at least an hour from my parents' house without traffic. Yeah, you guys do the math on that one. We were actually a little bit strapped for time. That said, when I rolled up, I thought it was going to be really simple. We were going to plug my laptop in, boom, we were going to jump into Fusion, we were going to smash the parts out, everything was going to go great. No. Literally, it took us about an hour of watching YouTube videos, finding tutorials that didn't exist, and just kind of hacking our way through getting the X-Carve to talk to my laptop, which is a PC, being I had all the files in Fusion and I had them already programmed and all that good stuff. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing on the X-Carve here, but it is the first generation machine, but I have to say it was a little bit scary at times running it. That said, though, thankfully nobody died in the process of doing it. Sadly, one of her in-mills had to be sacrificed and I broke one of mine, but you know what? It happens. That said, though, we eventually got the X-Carve to somewhat work for us, although there's some software things that were just really irritating for me to deal with. But we eventually got the parts cut, which is all that matters, I think, right? I hope. And with that being said, it came time to assemble it. Now, I thought that 0-90 screws were going to be a little bit bigger than they were. Yeah, I was wrong. These things are stinking microscopic. Now, the end result is you get a really sweet looking holder. Drawback is they're a pain in the butt to work with, to be perfectly honest. That said, though, a lot of off-camera patience because nobody wants to sit there and watch me screw screws in. We were able to get them all in, and the end result was really pretty, but it was a lot of work. Now, one thing that didn't make it into the final cut was we actually came along with super glue to finish the edges of the wood, and that actually turned out way better than we thought. The upside to that as well is I was not relying on the hardware to actually physically hold the plates together. It was there more as just for visuals. So we also came along and carefully ran a little bead of super glue on the inside to help hold everything together as a secondary measure. Sure, it's a business card holder and it's probably not going to see a ton of abuse, but at the same time, better safe than sorry. Now, sadly, we did figure out though that the local hardware stores did not sell 16-inch brass rods. Some of them actually will have those KNS metal kit things. Sadly, they didn't. So, oh well. We ended up, for the sake of filming, using some screws to hold it in place, but it is not a permanent solution. That said, though, at the end of all that hard work on my train ride back to San Francisco, I had a brainwave. As cool as the holder is because it hinges open, the problem with it is it needs to be ridiculously long to accommodate for the fact that the edge of the business card is here, and when the latch is opening, it might hit, which is an issue that we ran into, that we had to take a file to, which wasn't the end of the world, but it was a little bit of a bummer as I was trying to make the business card holder as physically compact as possible. So to that end, I came up with this. Now where'd the parts go? Now this will be covered more in a future video, but this is what I came up with. It's the same style, so I can use the same metal plates. It's just instead of hinging, the two pieces slide on and off. Also, there's provisions on the inside for magnets, which I'm going to work on more in the future, but the idea here is pretty simple. You can just go boop, 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 and you can slide the parts in and out. Now, the magnets don't have to be on both sides. I just modeled it like that because I could, because it was 3D printed. But the whole point is I took the original design and I've come up with something that I feel is better, and I might do something about it in the near future, because let's face it, I still have these guys I ain't done nothing with yet. Now, thankfully, Ashley was nice enough to send me home with some wood scraps. These guys right here, with the very simple request that I just make her up another spacer or two, and we're good, which I'm totally down with. This, I believe, is Purple Heart, which is really cool. It's got a failed laser cutting attempt on it. This, I believe, is Oak, which is what we used for the original one. And this, I believe, is Poplar or something. I'm not Norm Abrams. I'm not Bob Vila. I'm not a woodworking expert, but it's wood all right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this slightly unconventional episode of Make It with Calvin. And to conclude it, I'll include a little bit of a bloopers reel, if you will, of things that didn't make it into the final cut that I thought were actually show-worthy in and of themselves. So just remember, like Angus from Maker's Muse said, don't be scared to fail and document your failures so that way others can learn from them. And you know what? I think this is a really good example of it. There's nothing wrong with the original design of the business card holder. It's just, let's face it, sometimes there's better ways to do things, and sometimes people will intentionally create things so that way you go, how can I improve this? See you guys here later on Make It with Calvin, and enjoy the bloopers reel. It's really embarrassing at times. You damn fail.
Ah! Yep. There we go. Yay!
You left a bit behind.
Dang it!
Rip headphone user. You now count Ashley's back. Don't know how that happened. This is normal. First I break yours, then I break mine. Yeah. Well. 10 minutes from now. Yeah, just like take it from that and then just open it. And then pull a card out. And then close it.